me and he says, I'm not sure what's going on. He said, I've lost all contact with them. And I said, well, what do you think's going on? He said, well, you know, you went through the same thing. He was afraid he was going to die. Amen. And he told me, he said, I'm glad you didn't take the escape route. And I didn't say anything to him, but I chuckled and I said, I did.
Yes.
I went to Jesus. See, that's the escape route.
Yeah.
Amen. I mean, if I would have jumped in my van and took off, they would have followed me. They would have found me. But because I sat right there in my house, told them to call me when they needed me, whenever they called me, I responded. I even went to the house one day. Overall, what caused all of this was a couple $300 speakers that we stole. A bunch of guys were still on them, and I just figured, hey. I took them down to his house, and I told my girlfriend at the time, my daughter's mother, I said, I don't want those speakers. She said, well, I do. I said, well, you can have them. So we're driving down the road one day, and she says, I want those speakers. Let's go get them. I'm like, I'm not going down to that house. And the Lord spoke to me. He says, go. They'll be there, but you'll be safe. So I went there expecting these two hitmen to be at this house, but only one was there. And I sat down, and at this point I had cut my hair. I had hair way down my back. I had cut it to shoulder length.
When you used to have hair.
You know, I don't want to hear anything from you.
I had a lot of words to say.
How funny.
I walked in, and this one guy that I knew was a hitman, I was told that if I ever needed anyone taken care of, to talk to him. And he was one of the two men that was assigned to me that night. And I walked in, and he's sitting there. And he's sitting at the table, and I'm standing over here by a counter at the other end of the table. Excuse me. My supplier looked at me and said, wow, look at you, man. He said, you look different. See your hair, you got a haircut. No doubt I had color in my skin because I wasn't doing drugs anymore. And he said, you look different. What have you been up to? And this is what I said, Marlene. I said, I've been going to church, you know, getting ready. I was getting ready to die. I still thought I was dying. I still thought at any time I would go out and start my van before anyone else went to the van. Because I figured if it's going to be, you know, back then they used to put bombs in cars.
Yes,
And I figured if I'm going to be blown up, it's not going to be with my family. I'm going to be by myself. But I said, I'm just getting ready. And this man who sat there with his head down, keep in mind, just a few weeks before that, he was assigned to kill me. He sat there with his head down, and the moment I said that, he looked up at me, and I looked at him and smiled, and he dropped his head. And I realized that's why God told me to go back. It had nothing to do with those speakers. But he spoke to me and says, go, they'll be there, but you'll be safe. God sent me back to touch this young man's heart.
yes.
I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he continued living the lifestyle he was living. I don't know if he ended up dying, but God was warning that young man right then. I don't know his background. I don't know if he had went to church as a youth. I don't know anything about this guy. Other than when I'd walk in, I'd say, hey, how you doing? Shake his hand and move on. But God sent me back there for that man. Amen. We got the speakers, stood there for a while, talked, got the speakers and left. And some months later, when he told me, he says, I'm just glad you didn't take the escape route. But I did. I went to Jesus. See, He is your escape route.
Yes, he is.
No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're bound with, no matter your troubles, your trials, your tribulations, your fears, your sadness, your joy, your happiness, your courage, He's the escape route.
Yes.
And I said, courage. Why would you need an escape route from courage? Because some people are foolish in their courage. See, how many of you know that there's a healthy fear?
Yes. Oh, yes.
There's a irrational fear, but then there's a healthy fear. I mean, if you see 100 cars speeding down the freeway at 60 miles an hour, it's probably healthy to fear walking out in front of them.
I think so too.
Someone told me recently they wanted to check out. I said, well, I'll drive you down the I-90 and drop you off.
Yeah.
You really want to die?
That's
That's a good place. But see, a lot of times people say things that they don't mean.
right.
So there's a healthy fear. So sometimes being courageous is stupid. I've seen a lot of people be harmed, and many people have died simply because they were too foolish to back down and to say, I'm afraid. There's nothing wrong to be honest and say, I'm afraid. What's foolish is being behind a band of Hell's Angels and blowing your horn
Yeah.
because they're in your way. Are you listening to me? I'm talking about, Stephen, this is for you. Don't allow the pride of a man get in your way and cause you to put yourself or your family in harmful ways. See, that's the trick of the devil. I'm a man. Don't talk to me like that. See, when Jesus said to turn the other cheek, He wasn't necessarily saying to let people abuse you. But what He was saying is don't allow people to challenge you. Don't allow people to allow your pride to take over. Are you listening to me? See, people will provoke your pride. As a man, I'm talking. The devil will use people to provoke your pride, to put you and your family in a dangerous situation.
Oh yeah.
It's okay sometimes to walk away. Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
There's a time to stand and fight, but there's a time to walk away. When you can't walk away, when you're cornered, come out swinging. But when you have an opportunity to avoid conflict, the Bible says to be at peace with everyone if possible. Even God knows there's sometimes it's not possible. Are you listening to me? But if you can possibly walk away, then walk away. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I really feel the Lord telling me to say this today. Don't allow pride. I'm a man. Don't allow that to cause you to be destroyed. Because see, the trick of the devil is to cause you to be